Welcome to the show. We're live here at the set tonight, and of course, I'm super honored to have Aaron Rawls with me. I got to know Aaron a little bit just following City Council. That's one of the things I do. And Aaron, it's good to have you tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Want to make sure we're on Facebook and doing all that, guys. Is that right? Okay. Okay. All right. First question, because we were talking in the studio today. You know, folks want to know a little bit more about you. How did you get to Martinsville?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've told this story actually in front of City Council a few times, and to anyone who will listen, same story a lot of people have now, but in 2012, I kind of hit 30, and I know a lot of people right now look at Martinsville and think sometimes there's not a lot to do, or why would you live here? But I'm telling you, when you turn 30, a place like this starts to look real attractive. No traffic, light crime.
Are you a big city guy?
No. I've always lived in them for work, but it just gets old. The lifestyle gets really old. So at any rate, I turned basically 30 and started looking for other places to go. And my search went from Alaska to New York and everywhere in between, and landed in Martinsville to visit family, and knew like the day I landed here that this is where I was going to live, and have loved it. Did a little detour in Denver for about a year and a half for work in around 2017 and came back. Right. Missed every single day that I was there. I really wanted to be here. Was thrilled to be back.
What is it?
Quality of life. There's space, there's green. I like things like the Dick and Willie Trail. I can go and walk my dogs. We have a really charming uptown. And when you come from a big city, it's good for me running for council. It's kind of like being in a time machine where you can see a lot of the problems that will come here eventually, and we can try and get ahead of them. But some of the problems you endure in a big city, drug-related homelessness, is just absolutely brutal in the cities that I've come from, particularly Denver. There's an awesome documentary out done in Seattle from Como News, a local documentary, and you can, if you haven't seen that and are worried about some of the issues that might be coming toward Martinsville and why some of the people who have moved here are moving here, it's because of issues like that. But the real reason I would have to say, and the reason why I'm kind of going to champion Martinsville and part of my vision, is it's an affordable place to live, and it's good living. And kind of my tagline for Martinsville is it's the capital of affordable good living for people. Right. And I think that the data is there to prove this. And whenever, I know you probably don't want to hear me ramble on this a bunch, but whenever you want to talk facts or stats behind that, I can give them to you.
Okay. So you just love the town?
I do love the town. Always have. There's a lot of character here, and I mean that both in terms of the city itself, but also the people. And working in these cities of millions of people and some pretty high-powered organizations, I'm telling you, I've met some characters here that you couldn't replicate anywhere else, and I like that. I like authentic people.
Right. Okay, I get that. But how about big city? You got more opportunity.
No. So, well, depends what you want to do. If you want to do like kind of grow a career up a corporate ladder or something like that, right? Absolutely. Like, so I moved to Phoenix. That's how I got out west from South Carolina. I took the first job.
Are you in the tech world?
Yeah, I am now. Yeah. Back then I was a college student, a marketing grad with no real skills or really not even a brain.
And before we talked tonight, you said not any direction. Is that?
Yeah, totally aimless. I had the good sense to take the first job someone offered me and went out to Phoenix, not knowing anybody. Right. And but I was a young guy, like a lot of young guys. We need to get a purpose quickly, or else we start to go off the rails. So anyway, I dove right into work. Right. And that's kind of how I built my career. And I went from Phoenix to virtually every other city in the U.S. And that's where I built a lot of my perspective and appreciation for the city of Martinsville. Okay. I do want to answer your question directly. Okay. If you want to do the corporate thing and look for a job and you're a young person who's not ready to start your own thing, of course, a big city is there. And also there are things like it's easier to find like a spouse or a partner, all that sort of stuff. But when you're ready to come and settle, or maybe be an entrepreneur and do your own thing, a town like Martinsville, where you can carve out a niche for yourself and build an identity, it's really attractive to people like me.
Right. Okay. You're making sense to me.
Okay.
All right. Why get involved with city council? Because I mean, it might kind of disrupt all this peacefulness.
It is. A lot of people like to make sure to let me know that I'm a huge unknown and I don't have to do so much work than everyone else. And to me, it's kind of vindication of my strategy, which is I came here to just kind of chill, enjoy my life, not get mixed up in this. And the way this kind of happened is I had a few people come to me, literally walk through my door in my house, not a phone call, not anything. Right. And they had heard me speak about the ARPA money, which, very quick tangent, I'm very passionate about not being a sucker in everything in my life. And that doesn't mean be cruel or get over on people. I mean, just do not want people to come into my backyard and basically steal from us. And I'm certainly not saying that anyone who was up for ARPA money was doing that. It's just we have a bit of a legacy of...
We're talking about that $4.5 million?
And it's happened in many things where people come and kind of pitch a plan and maybe we don't quite do our diligence, and then next thing you know, the money is run out of our community. So anyway, some folks had heard kind of my messaging around that and said, we think that you might be the right person to finally get this going. And to that I said, I promise you I'm not. So why don't we work together and try to find someone who is? The problem that we had run into is anyone who's got the qualifications or the personality to do this, we've kind of created ourselves a little bit of a doom spiral where no one really wants to be affiliated with what's going on right now. They take an immediate reputation hit just by being at the table. And I hate to say that. And I really do not like to bring people down. Say that again. So by being up there, you kind of get involved in some chaos that you might not want to be. And so by proximity to that, people might look at you and your reputation might be impacted. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but you certainly feel that way. And I have felt that way.
I felt this way doing this job.
Okay.
Just because I asked questions.
Yep. So we went through...
Put in a corner.
We went through a roster of people, took them out to dinner, tried to get some people to do it, and no one would. And then I ended up going to a couple more council meetings. I've been to every one since COVID was over and we could go.
I can vouch for it.
Okay. There were a couple things that were said that made me go from a hard no to a hard yes pretty quickly.
So you got provoked.
I got provoked. But I don't think anyone's intending to do anything wrong. But it's I'll be forthright, honest about the thing that kind of set me off is it was again about using the ARPA money, and we were talking about picking winners and losers. And I'm sorry, but we do not have the track record to be doing that, A. But B, it's not come to that for Martinsville. There's tons of opportunity here. Tons of people have moved here. Almost every single storefront in Uptown is full. We've had the Holt remodel, where Ground Floor Coffee is a world-class remodel. I don't know what we're doing talking about picking winners and losers. That's not necessary right now in Martinsville. And if we did pick winners and losers, I am really concerned about the direction that would go. Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about that Uptown partnership. What do you think about that?
I really want Kathy Deacon to succeed doing that. She has some experience doing it. Uptown could be made to look really beautiful. I go through the alleyway that she helped build every day. That thing is really cool. And I know a lot of people look at that and are kind of like, so what? But those little things matter. A lot of the flower plantings we've done, the painting of the sewer grates uptown, she's bringing value here. And she got a bit of a rough reception. And, in fairness, this was not rolled out particularly well. It was kind of thrown onto people, and the first thing anyone really read about was like, oh hey, we happen to get $5 million, and it's going to this group that no one really has heard anything about. And everyone's brain, having lived here for as long as they have, they're like, oh Lord, where is it going now? So
do you get that though?
Oh, I absolutely get that. And I was at a Piedmont Arts event and was sharing that sentiment, like, I get it. I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out with Uptown Partnership, that I really do want them to succeed. And Kathy has got some serious credentials in this space.
But don't they want some of that ARPA money to go to certain people?
I've heard that, and I admit I have mentioned that as a concern of mine when people ask me about it. And I've done my research, so I try not to. I don't really do gossip, but so I've gone to the courthouse and pulled deeds at who might be receiving some of these properties, and it's a concern of mine. And I don't know that there's any ill intent, and I don't know that it's Kathy the one who's trying to do any of this. And my concern's not even who gets it or what they're going to do with it. My concern is what happens 5 years from now. So I'll give you a for instance. Let's say we give someone, I'm going to pull money out of thin air, $500,000 to procure a building. Let's say they give it an honest go and they're not successful. Well, we just gave them $500,000 to buy a building. What do they have? $500,000 of equity in a building, potentially. And let me come back to this potentially. So I give it a go, it doesn't work out, or I get tired of Martinsville, or it turns out I'm not cut out for this. What stops me from refinancing and just running away with the money? And I've noticed that participating in the city council meetings is we generally don't look 5 minutes into the future, let alone 5 or 10 years. And that's kind of a gift and a curse that I've had, is I'm almost always 10 years into the future. That's how I landed here in 2012, as I spotted the opportunity of this being an affordable place to live, great place to own property, build a home. Everyone's property values have probably doubled over the last couple of years. But let's come back to that potentially of purchasing those buildings. I'm also a little bit worried about the technical competence. So what I mean by that is, right now it sounds to me, based on the conversations I've discussed and the deeds I've seen on file, someone's kind of picking a number of what these properties are worth and saying, this is the number, you will pay it to me and this person can have the building. Has anyone appraised them, inspected them, any of that stuff? Some of these buildings I've been in and they're in terrible condition. I'd be worried about things like mold. I'd definitely be worried about the roofing. We're talking about things that are hundreds of thousands of dollars to remediate. Right. Not to mention you will need probably $1 million+ to renovate some of these buildings. And I don't know that we're doing the diligence on all that. And maybe someone will surprise me and say that we are. And 2 years ago, I'd be given the benefit of the doubt. Today, I'm not going to do that.
All right. I do want to let the folks know we will be taking phone calls in a second. And Aaron's welcome to that.
Sure.
You want to hear from folks.
Yeah.
We actually be polite, of course, during that process. But if you got questions you'd like to ask him. Now, the big question, reversion. Is it a yes or no?
Are you asking me or is this a phone call?
I'm asking you.
Hard stop. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to actually take a little bit of different, let's tell a story that people may not have heard yet.
Okay.
Right now it's a black or white, yes or no in reversion, and there's a lot of argument about things in the middle. I'm going to take a different path, but then I'll come back around to the things people have mentioned. We're a city of 12 to 13,000 people. I'd love to see us grow to be 15. That's one of my goals.
Right.
Even still, let's say we grow to 15,000. If we tick off every friend and ally we've got in the world to get there, we're an island unto ourselves. And the way our government works, for better or worse.
Have we ticked them off?
Well, so we've got friends, family, mom, dad, brother, sister living in Henry County. They should be our closest allies. We're more or less, we're very geographically linked to the county, of course. Right. And this has been a pretty contentious process. I think most people would agree. So let's say we want to go to bat for some money for Southern Virginia with the state or the federal government. Well, we don't have any allies to go punch with us. What I'd really like to be doing is building some coalitions with people. We should be making friends for Southern Virginia. A lot of money gets allocated to Northern Virginia, but we're building a lot of things here. We have farmers here. We have a lot going on here. I really don't want to tick off everybody and be an island of 15,000 people. And I'm going to go on a soapbox for 1 second here and just do a tiny life lesson. If you ever listen to like speakers or leaders or graduation speeches or whatever, and they'll talk about the attributes of success, one that's never mentioned, but it's the most key, is reciprocity. And what that basically means is I will do good by you, you will do good by me. If I do good by enough people for a long enough time, what happens to me? Everyone wants to come and work with me. If I don't do good by everyone I engage with, does anyone want to ever come back and play with me? They do not. I can't be trusted. I'm miserable. I'll get over on them the first chance I get. So we've really got to start treating people the way that we would want to be treated. And if you think about the nature of reversion, and now we can kind of get into what some people's substantive concerns are, is we're basically dumping all the things we don't want to do onto the county and saying, see you later, your problem, right?
Right.
And obviously the city residents don't appreciate that. And there is a lot of misinformation going on about paying double taxes and all that. And I think that the city, that's not one reason why people in the city should be scared of this, is that not all of a sudden you're gonna have monstrous taxes or anything like that.
But there's uncertainty.
There is uncertainty, and no one knows. No one knows how this will actually go.
Right.
And kind of going.
And if I said, do you trust the government not to tax you?
Right, no, correct. Well, here's the other thing too, is can you trust them to, for example, consolidate schools effectively? Because they were not brought to the table during this process. So how do we know how this is going to unfold? That's a huge risk. It's a very big risk.
Yes or no, though? Can you give me a yes or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm a reasonable person. So 10 years from now, I don't want to constrain our vision. I do think it's way too early to give up on Martinsville.
But right now, you're a no.
Right now, I'm a hard no. But let's say 10 years from now, I've set every goal that I can set. Let's say I get elected.
Right.
And
so 2022, you're a hard no.
Hard no. Let's say 2032 comes around, and we have tried everything. We have brought back a lot of our old homes. We've built some new neighborhoods, which is something else I want to achieve. Let's say we have done all of this, and still, for some reason, the economics don't work out. I don't think anyone's served by being a hard no just for the politics of it. You got to come back and be reasonable with the circumstances. But right now, no, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think that's where we need to be as a city right now. I think that the constraint of vision is extremely concerning to me. One of the cool things about being an independent city, so we are a small city. We have 5 representatives of our own, not just one with the county, which is where we would be. Maybe potentially 2 is what I hear if we were to get a seat on the Board of Supervisors. So think about all the things we can do as a small city that's independent. We have a lot of latitude to do things that big cities can't. We are agile, we can move faster. And guys like me have made a career leaving like humongous companies, Fortune 500s and whatever, going to small enterprises where we can actually make a difference and steer the ship and grow something. We could be the model for so many cool things. And that's where I talk about constraint to vision is, we talk about how we don't really have money to do this, and if we just save the money, then we'd be able to pave more roads. I'm thinking, no, we have a real issue coming our way, and I want to talk about two of them very quickly. Okay. Let's talk about two. One is drug-related homelessness. That's coming our way, and it's frankly already here. We have a chance to actually be the model for how this is solved. This has confounded cities across the United States. I met with someone who's a very sharp young lady. I would let her roll out the details of this, but I'm a logician, like I'm an engineering brain person. The plan that we came up with, I think would be extremely effective and can be used as a model. And I think that'd be so cool for Martinsville to be able to be the model for solving some of these problems. And I want to talk about one other one, and this is one, generally speaking, national issues don't scare me. This is one that actually scares me. If anyone at home is listening, I highly recommend that they do this. Take 2 minutes and Google Blackstone Real Estate. This is an investment company who set aside $50 billion to go around areas like Martinsville and scoop up homes and turn them into basically rental hellholes, which we've already got a terrible problem with in Martinsville. So we're going to squeeze people out of homes. We're going to have
what's that site?
It's called Blackstone. You're going to Google it, Blackstone Real Estate, and they're just the bigger player. And $50 billion to come through places like Martinsville and scoop up homes. So rents will go up. People will lose homes. And when I say people will lose homes, they're not going to kick people out, but they might go in as an LLC and buy them up, and other people won't get a chance to do it, and then squeeze people that way. And who knows what vehicles some of these investment places will do. There are also some little hedge funds that, are fly-by-night places that are going to do this.
You think we're wide open to that, don't you?
Oh my gosh, we absolutely are. So if you read a New York Times article from May about Charlotte has been absolutely eaten alive by these people. And so I've been spending most of my time through the West End, and that's where I'll be for the next few weeks. Okay. And I hope to see a lot of you folks there. I talked to a few people there who were talking about all these LLCs are coming through, and they buy the properties and they don't do anything with them, and the grass is this tall and the homes are run down. Right. This is not a good situation for Martinsville. Right. And we've got to get out ahead of this quickly. Right. We're
going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to open the phone lines up.
Okay, let's do it.
But I think we're getting to know Aaron. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 40. I just turned 40.
40. You don't look 40.
Old man. Thank you.
Yeah. You don't look 40.
Feel 40.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. What an interesting interview this is. Aaron's a different kind of politician. I bet you don't like being called
I'm not a politician, no.
Yeah, you don't like being called a politician, I bet. I didn't think you would. All right, folks, get lined up. 656-2255 is the number to call. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back. We'll be back on Facebook in a few minutes as well. Stay with us.